Hi everyone, how you all doing? Happy New Year. Welcome to Everything Matters, episode 8, I think it is. Don't quote me on that, but just Happy New Year everyone watching. And joined today by familiar faces. The first two guests I ever had on, Carson and Thomas Higgins. How are we?
Very good, yourself.
Oh, good. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. January blues a bit, but it's allowed, isn't it?
I'm still in that kind of like weird period of time that I don't actually know what day it is anymore. So, yeah, I can't believe we're like so far into the new year already. It's absolutely wild. But yeah, happy new year.
I know,
Absolutely.
happy New Year, guys. But just before we continue, I'll just make everyone aware I'm actually having a fundraising night. It's going to be two charities I'm going to be doing it on behalf of. So it's going to be Dementia Scotland and it's Men Matter Scotland. So I'll put the links up on my channel just when I start the fundraising for it. So it's 11th of June. So if anyone wants to donate anything as well, they certainly can. Just get in touch with myself and I'll sort it out. But first of all, I'll start with Allie, the first guest that I had on. How are you from the last time I spoke to you, Allie? How are things looking up for you?
So I can't believe how long ago it actually was as well. It's absolutely mad. And I think the last time that we'd spoke, we were just kind of coming out of lockdown. I think lockdown
Yeah.
3, whatever one it was.
Right.
So obviously life has changed a little bit because like everything's open and I'm back out and about and stuff. But unfortunately just now I am in a really bad flare up. So like I think the last time I'd spoken to you, I was kind of around about the same. During the summertime, I was really lucky to be a bit healthier and I could go out and about. I was lucky enough to get away as well. I went to Ibiza and I was quite well for a while, and then just with the cold weather and things, I've kind of like taken a bit of a downwards turn with my health issues. But mindset wise, much healthier. Physical health, maybe not as good.
Physical, not as good. Is that just down to maybe the winter? Like,
yeah, like it's a combination of it being like just kind of a lot of stress at kind of like Christmas time, and also just it's cold as well, so I'm not really getting out and about for walks and stuff. And the cold weather really does affect like anyone that has kind of nerve pain or anything like that. It kind of makes it a little bit worse, but it's still bearable at the moment. So
still all good. That's the main thing. Just need to keep looking forward and being positive, and that's the main thing. So I know obviously I've been back to work tomorrow. It's just it'll be difficult, but it's just about adapting.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, you look forward to it? It'll be good.
Normality.
No, I know. I was working all day without Christmas, so I know. So it's just got to get on with it now. Hopefully it's a better year than the last two, but fingers crossed. But Thomas, how are you?
I'm good, man. I think the last time we spoke, well, on the video, I think it would have been somewhere between September and August, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, it was August, yeah.
Was it August? I can't remember how long ago it was now. I think the last time we spoke, I wasn't the best of places, but I was getting to a better place. I say right now, I'm not too bad. You have your up and down days, and it's like winter time is never a good time. I think for me anyway, personally, I think a lot of folk as well. But just the dark nights and all that, and the cold weather, as you say, it's just not a good time of year. And that, and it's I think for a lot of folk struggle with it in general. And I'm not too bad. I mean, I go through days where I'm fine, other days I'm not. But I would say generally I'm actually quite good the new year. Like I said, it's up and down days I'm having, but then I can always go, well, next day's another day. Just restart again, just go up. I think I said that before. That's how I kind of live my days. You just kind of that's really it. So yeah, that's pretty much. I'd say I'm pretty good now. Yeah.
No, good stuff, and it's good you've improved because I know you went through a bit of a difficult time the last time we spoke, just with the breakup in the relationship. How have you?
Yeah.
How have you been since that? If you feel as if you're a lot more settled now, you can just talk about how you feel in regards to it.
I think now I've got a bit more clarity of mind compared to what I had back then. Everything was a bit kind of cloudy back then, and you're going up and down with your emotions and that. Whereas now I would say it's more realised that things weren't meant to be. The person you're with moved on, you move on. and you kind of wish them the best, and then that's kind of really, you know, and it's kind of healthier mindset I've got now than I had back then. So yeah.
No, definitely. It's never easy as well, just when you're going through it at that time, because it was quite still fresh. But how's the support been for you since? If you had the good support just around it in the aftermath of it?
Well, during the period of time I was kind of, for the time we'd spoken, probably a couple of months after that, I was having quite a few days where I was getting down and that, and but like I think I've said to you before, like I'm quite lucky, you know, I've got a lot of close people around me, like my mum, my brother, you know, I've got quite a few folk around me, so I'm quite fortunate. You know, some people go through situations like that where they don't have people to turn to, they've got no reference, they've just got to go through it. So I had a lot of helpful advice from friends and just people I was talking to and that, and like I said, I said to you at the time, it was I took it quite bad, but at the same time, you know, some things you just have to move on from. That's it, really.
No, definitely, and you look a lot happier as well now. You look I'm not saying you were in a bad mood back then, but no, you've definitely improved, and that's the main thing. You just need to keep looking forward and speaking out about these things, and it's all part of life. It can be quite daunting at times, and
absolutely, yeah,
quite scary. But no, you're doing well, so it's long may it continue for you, Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
How was the response? Just finally, before I move on to Ali, how's the response been from people since you've come on to the channel and opened up about your situation?
Pretty much right away I started getting loads of messages. So like I've always been like a kind of mental health advocate, and I've always like spoken about it, but I think the last time we spoke I shared a lot of things that people that maybe weren't super close to me didn't know. So things about, like I had said about, obviously I'd been suicidal at my birthday time, and I think people didn't realise how much I'd actually struggled during lockdown as well, because I'm very much like put a brave face on, and very much like my Instagram is like a highlight reel of my life. So as much as I'd shared that I'd kind of had struggles, I think people didn't know the actual kind of ins and outs of it unless they'd been super close. So I feel as if being super honest kind of encouraged other people to be the same. So I would also encourage anyone that, again, if you're watching this and you think like you would like to message any one of us, like we're more than happy to speak to you. And even if it is just a chat, if you don't want to like share your problems or anything like that, then please feel free to do so. But it's been lovely to hear a few people that I'd spoken to at the time are also kind of they're on their own little journey, and they're feeling a little bit more positive as well, which is lovely to hear. And it's nice to share the positive parts as well as maybe like the not so positive parts.
No, definitely. And like I know this platform here, like it's, of course it's serious matters, but it's good to obviously have a laugh about, like have a good laugh about it, just because we're looking forward now, and that's the main thing. Is the support been good for yourself, Ali, as well since? Like
yeah, absolutely. So like I have been very lucky that I have always had quite a good support network. And I know there's people out there that maybe don't have that. But I have been very lucky that as we've kind of come out of lockdown and I'm able to see more people, that's only got stronger. So I have spent more time. The last time I'd said, obviously I hadn't really been seeing my friends, but I spent a lot more time with my friends, and kind of like spoken to family that lived a little bit further away and things like that. So it's been really lovely to kind of develop those relationships again. And really, I feel as if a lot of people might relate to this, but coming out of lockdown, especially as someone that was shielding, I did feel as if like a lot of the relationships I did have to kind of rebuild again, because I didn't know who the people were anymore, and same with me, like I've definitely changed a lot, and now it's like 2 years, which is crazy. So since almost 2 years ago, obviously you're going to be different, and there's people that I've not spoken to really the whole time, and just up until recently, so you've kind of had to get to know them again, which is difficult, but it has been lovely, and it's really nice to see how people have changed for the better as well, after obviously years of what's not been it's not been a great time for anyone really.
No, definitely. And in regards to like since we last spoke, has there been days where you've been struggling mentally, and like how have you dealt with that since last time we spoke?
So I think as Thomas said, like a healing journey is not linear. So I think a lot of people think you just get better. So this whole like it gets better, and you should be around to see it. I totally believe in and I like advocate, but it isn't a linear journey. You're not going to be better. Like quite often there's days that you'll wake up and you feel absolutely miserable, and as much as no one really wants to admit that, because obviously we're encouraging each other to heal, it's not just one day I woke up and it was gone. So with anything, any kind of mental health struggles, as a battle. So like you have to constantly kind of want to be here and you have to want to get better. And especially with my like physical pain as well, it is all kind of connected. So the worse my mental health gets, the worse the physical pain gets. So I kind of have to keep on top of it. But I did, to be honest, for a little while, I kind of like put everything just to the kind of back burner and didn't really think about it, and it snuck up on me and it made me ill. So in terms of like summertime, it is a lot easier to be mentally well during summer. It's bright outside, lots of things were open, the clubs were open again, people could go on holiday. Like it's very easy to be happy and to not feel anxious when you're abroad, or like I was in Ibiza, do you know what I mean? It's not the hardest place to be. So when like the kind of holiday blues kind of kicked in, and it started to get darker nights and it was cold and it was rainy, I did feel like my mental health did take a dip. But coming up to Christmas, I do really struggle at Christmas time. So I struggle with the fact that probably a lot of people relate to this as well, that we're meant to be happy. It's like forced joy. So like you have to be happy at Christmas, you have to be nice to people at Christmas, you have to speak to people you've never spoken to for like the whole year, and you're meant to rekindle like friendships and relationships. And I really struggled with that, because like all of a sudden there was people that were in my life that we hadn't spoken to, like friends and family. It's not necessarily just like a couple of people, but that all of a sudden we were meant to like be like super close again, and it's people that I hadn't really spoken to and hadn't checked in on me and things. So that I find quite difficult. And also I've struggled quite a lot with anxiety since the last time we'd spoken. Not necessarily COVID anxiety, which I am feeling is becoming a bit more like prevalent at the moment, just with like there's obviously a lot more cases and things, and it's something I try and not look at. But it just anxiety in general, anxiety about nothing, anxiety about literally waking up and just feeling like worried, really frightened, about worried, like about literally nothing. It's just once you have that like kind of feeling of anxiety and like kind of being desolate, it doesn't go away. So I've had to work a lot on that since the last time we'd spoken, because that kind of became like more at the forefront of the mental health journey than maybe the depression and things was just in the tail end of the year.
No, and that is good, but like if you got like coping mechanisms just for things like that, and how to deal with that, like action it right away instead of try and let it go into the back of your mind.
So actually something that is quite important. So I struggle a lot with stress, and I didn't realise that it wasn't normal to be as stressed as what I was, because everyone has stress, right? So it's not, I can imagine that every single person watching this has experienced stress. It's not a new feeling, it happens and we're just meant to get on with it. But stress is a killer. Like it's not, you shouldn't have to just get on with it because you're like so anxious and you're stressed. I was getting to the stage that I was getting so stressed about little things like, I don't know, my washing machine's not working, or like I couldn't get the house to heat up quick enough and I was cold, or like literally things that you would never really think would be such a massive trigger. But I was getting so stressed, I felt as if I was like, my head was going to explode, and like I was so shaky. I've been losing hair quite a lot. So like, not that you can't, I've got a lot of hair in my head, like it's not, I'm not baldy, but I have noticed like my hair's really, really thinned in the past few months, and that is just with worry. I was feeling that I wasn't coping at work, which I've been very lucky to be able to take some time off. And actually just before Christmas, I found out from a specialist, like I'd been getting really bad chest pain, and it was put off basically as something called pericarditis, which is an inflammation of the fluid-filled sac around your heart that protects it. It's quite common to have after a viral infection, or a few people have been getting it after the vaccine, and it isn't a serious thing. So it's not like life or death. It's not like a heart attack. It's nothing like that. But it is serious if it's left and it's untreated. So I was getting treatment for it. It's basically you take aspirin. It's nothing like, it's not super scary or anything, but actually I got a phone call about it. I was quite surprised, to be honest, that she'd phoned me and she'd said, like, we're just wanting to talk about the condition. So I'd said fine, like I was in work at the time, and she'd said, like, did you get the letter? And I hadn't received a letter, so I was like, no. And she said, oh right, okay. And basically they told me I had a mild cardiac arrest, which is a mild heart attack, right? So everyone seems to be kind of like, when I tell them this, and it's quite shocking. Like I was quite shocked. But basically I had got so stressed that it wasn't a panic attack, it was a heart attack. And I was 24. Like it's not normal to have a heart attack at 24. It's called a silent ischemia. So basically it's a silent heart attack. So I likely just went to bed and then got up the next morning, went and got a roll and then went to work. Like it's not, I didn't know. So and I'm very lucky to be getting loads of blood tests all the time. Actually, no, I take that back. I don't want blood tests, but I'm lucky that in this instance I was getting tested all the time. And they found it. But like that totally shocked me so much, and I was like, right, obviously I'm way too stressed, so I took a bit of time off and I do feel a lot better. But that people really, like, when I tell them this, it's quite shocking news, but I would never have known, and I would have continued in that really toxic cycle of being stressed and not dealing with it. So I'm now on medication, which it does help. It helps, but I'm very reluctant to take it all the time because obviously it's propanolol, so basically it slows your heart rate down. But as someone that has now a heart condition, I'm kind of like, oh, do I want to like take it all the time? But I take it when necessary, and it does make a big difference. And I've obviously got like some breathing exercises, and I went through some CBT for it as well. But yeah, the medication, the last time I spoke to you, I was very like, oh, medication doesn't work for me, and this really does. So
it does work for you a lot,
it just kind of shows you, it shows you that it's obviously different things work for different people.
No, definitely. That's good you're on the mend now, but this is the important thing. Mental health, I say it every episode that it doesn't get spoke about enough. This is why we need the more funding into it, because it showed as well, like a lot of these, it's a high percentage of mental health cases do lead to people being physically ill. And of course, and if you've seen already, I shared on Instagram a couple of days ago, the suicide rates already, 6 days into the year, 10,000 people losing their life. Like, it just shows you, doesn't, like, this is why we need to get as much support as we can for mental health to prevent situations like yourself from happening, of course, Allie. But as I say, that's good, but the main thing is you're on the mend now and you're taking medications every day. The medication you take for it?
It's as and when. So like initially they'd said I would take it every day, but I actually do have low blood pressure, so taking propanolol for a normal human that does not have as many health issues as what I have, it would be totally fine. But I take it as and when, and I do notice a massive difference when I do take it. It literally I feel like chill, and I'm not a chill person, so like honestly it really, really does help. But I think it's crazy to me. Like I was in total shock when she told me this. I was like, no, I didn't. Like absolutely not. But that was just something that was caused by me being so stressed and not dealing with it. And I think stress and anxiety is something that a lot of people are experiencing, especially with this whole like uncertainty and things are changing all the time, and you have a lack of control with it all. Like obviously none of us are really in control with what happens just now, so we're kind of being told like what's going on. And I find it very difficult. So like for me, the stress stuff, it's a lot of external factors, and then just as she explained, it's little bits. So like you might think it's nothing, but maybe like running a bit late, or like maybe you're a bit behind on something for work, or you've had like quite maybe an argument, or like a wee bit of like tension at home or something like that, and it's too much, and then I had a heart attack. Like it's just crazy. And I'm 24, I've got a relatively healthy heart, like I'm not super overweight or anything like that, and it's just I would never have thought it would happen to me. So it's just really important for people to speak up about it, because I always kind of thought like, oh well, everyone's stressed, everyone's a bit anxious, like, and it doesn't have to be like that. Like I'm not just now, so it really doesn't have to.
Oh, definitely. It's good you've been very open about it, because I know, of course, it's happened very
Very
recently.
recent. It's quite raw, yeah.
Yeah, no, so,
That was only just before Christmas I found out, but it happened in like July, August time, and I just didn't know about it until then. So.
just passed. But I'm sure anyone that's maybe suffering from the same, that they feel as if something's not quite right with themselves, and they've got the same symptoms as Ali had, I'm sure they can open up to Ali about it if they'd like. I'm sure Ali would be happy to help you.
Yeah, I'm not a like doctor or anything,
Oh.
but definitely if you are feeling like you're kind of in the same situation with any of the health issues, like please message me about it, because some of these things are so hard to get diagnosed, and they're not taken seriously. I know, like, it's obviously, as soon as you say there's something wrong with your heart, people do kind of take it a bit more seriously. But see, if you're young and you've got no kind of prior health conditions, they really don't. So that is a flaw. But yeah, please feel free to message and ask me more questions about it if you want to.
No, definitely. And thanks very much for being very open, Ali, about that. I appreciate it. So on to Thomas now. So Thomas, how's the support been since you've opened up in regards to the situation since the last time you came on?
Generally pretty good, as I was saying earlier on. Like people around me and all that have always been supportive in that, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm very, very fortunate, and I'm very much aware that every single day I get up, I'm how fortunate I am at times. One of the things I would say is like my younger brother, I'll not mention his name, but he's been very supportive of me over the whole period, especially like some nights I was I was sitting up at night and I wasn't talking that, and he found out. He was phoning me up, asked me how I was doing. Just wee things like that can just make your day that much better as well. If you're going through a really bad day, or just someone asking how you doing, just the question of asking someone how you feeling, and just someone listening to you, because I was phoning him up most days, just ranting about the same situation. Well, not say ranting, sorry, it's not the right word. Talking about the same things, and repetitive thoughts, and my anxiety and how I was at the time. So I would repeat the same things over and over to him and my mum as well, and just repeat myself. And I was driving the van at work, and I was going along and just phoning him up in the van and just talking about the same situation, try to convince, just repeating it, try and get myself out of how I was feeling. But you were just going around in circles. But he would listen and listen. And there was one day I phoned him up and spoke for 2 hours of the same thing, and just kept going about it. And that's the thing, is, like I said, I'm very fortunate, because some people might not have been able to deal with it. But the thing about me, when I'm anxious and I'm down, people know about it. I think I hide it quite well. I don't hide it very well at all. And it's more so when you've got people around you that know you very well. When I'm anxious and I'm in a bad place, people can click on very quickly. There was a couple of days I went to my work, people came up to me and said, what's wrong with you? I says, no, I'm fine. And they says, well, your usual cheery self. And this is the thing, is people pick up your body language quite easily. Because I can pick up other folks' body language myself. So when you notice the wee differences in how their demeanour and just generally how they talk and that. So yeah, a lot of folk were clicking onto it, and like I said, you think you hide it, but you don't.
No, it's quite hard to see. Excuse me, it's quite hard to see it yourself, isn't it? When you're feeling it, but like you're trying to put that face on. That's why it's just important. If it's someone in your work or like a family, and even though it is the same situation you're talking about, just talking about it can make you 100 times better than what you were before that call. Because if you never made that call, you don't, like, it would just be bottled up inside and eaten away. That's just very important to just be open about these things. And as I said, like, of course, just going back to like support since your last came on, and how have you dealt with like the days that things haven't been so great for yourself, Thomas? Have you got like similar to last to Ali? It was like, any coping mechanisms do you have?
I think for me, I think one is the one in my mindset where I'll be going, okay, you're not feeling really good right now, but think of the positives. I'm always constantly going with the positives in my head. I'm trying to get some perspective and think, well, today's not been a good day and you're not in a good place. That's sometimes how I try to get myself. I try to train my brain to start thinking that way. It's difficult some days. I don't always succeed in doing that. I try my best to do it, but I think it's almost like it's like restarting your brain again to just start thinking that way again. And I find comfort in some small things, like even just like coming in the house, talking to the dogs, seeing my mum, talking to people that that are quite positive in my life, like quite close friends that I've met today. And these are the kind of things that make me think, life is worth living. It's good to be here sometimes. There's going to be days when you're, like you said, you're not going to. Sometimes you don't want to be here, but that can. There's days like that where you can not be. You're not necessarily in a bad place, but you get into a low, and then you can immediately kick yourself back out of it again. And I've had days like that over the last couple of weeks where I've just been like up and down, and then there's some days you feel a bit emotional. And I don't think sometimes it's self-inflicted if you're going out, you're drinking, which is fine to get out for a couple of drinks. But there's days where the drinking, even if it's been 2 or 3 days later, that can then spiral out of control because the anxiety can build from that. Yeah. You've caused it yourself. So, but yeah.
And that's the thing as well with like alcohol. It's well, like a wee drink now and then, but I think the thing is with alcohol, it stays in your body for 8 days. Like, after you consume it, like, so it's just it's not that time. Of course, it's that time you're having a ball, all your friends or family, but it's like the 2 or 3 days after, or even the day after. That's when things could start, and that's when you maybe notice a change in how you're feeling, your attitude towards things. But no, that's the main thing. You have got that support there, because I know a lot of people might be watching this that they feel as if they're not going to support, but they just need to know that they do. They can come to myself, Allie, or Thomas. I mean, because you have been great since like, opening up. It must be like, if you felt a lot better opening up about the situation on this, do you feel as if it's given you a platform?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been great. In terms, I think it's good for anybody that's even starts something like this. I said actually before that it's good to have the platform to talk about things sometimes. I mean, when I first initially did this with you, like back when you first started it, I was a bit nervous just going on talking because it is quite bizarre talking to a camera and looking at your own face.
Exactly.
But it is good. I think like you said, knowing you're helping somebody, if somebody listens to it, it could change their perspective just like that. So it's worth it.
Totally. And the support, like with yourself, Ali, as well. Do you feel as if it's helped yourself a lot?
So actually opposite to Thomas, so like I literally do this for a job. I talk to myself on camera. So like I wasn't so nervous about that, but it is so strange. Like I had never met you before. We hadn't even really spoken that much before. I obviously kind of literally told you my whole life story and like everything, like absolutely everything, like things I'd never told anyone. So it's quite cathartic just to say it all. And I think I obviously like there's things that I'll not share, like just out of kind of respect for other people, I wouldn't share them and stuff. But like it is nice just to have a platform that you can kind of put it all out. And I find as well, like, see, holding things in all the time, it makes me so ill. Like, I'm so anxious about having not told people things and feeling as if I've got to keep things a secret. And like, especially kind of like traumatic things that have happened in the past year, which obviously the last time we spoke, you knew there was a lot. So it was nice just to be able to kind of like share it all. And I imagine like anyone that's really been on to chat to you, it feels the same, I would hope anyway. And you'd be surprised how many people go through the same kind of things. Like I was quite shocked by some of the stories that obviously people have told on here, especially people that I had known, and obviously I'm from Clydebank as well, so I do kind of know of people even though I don't live there anymore. And it was so not interesting is the wrong word, because obviously I would never want to hear anyone's like horrendous stories, but it was kind of reassuring to know that everyone is fighting a battle. So whether you guys are struggling with your physical health, or whether you struggle a lot with stress, or maybe it's like a really horrendous breakup like Thomas, like everyone has experienced likely what you're going through. So I think that's quite reassuring to know that we're maybe not all facing it alone, or it's maybe not as daunting as what you think if someone else is going through it.
No, definitely. And that's the main thing as well, just opening up about it. Like, it's just, it might be like sound like a broken record, but it's just very important. Like as I've said, like when I launched this channel, the aim of it was to, as long as it helps one person, but I don't feel as if helping one person's enough. Just what you just want to keep giving folk a
Absolutely.
platform to help them, because there's people watching this just now that probably had similar situations to yourself. I mean, I've had messages from folk the last few days as well. Even a former footballer messaged me. He's like, good on you, like turning your life around. It's kind of just things like that that kind of go, wow, life at the end of the day is worth living, isn't it? It can be difficult at times. There's times where you wake up in the morning and go, I'm not moving out my bed today, but it's just about how we tackle that. And just as soon as, like, prime example today, I went up and went out a run today, but like I couldn't be bothered all day. And then after
Good
that,
on you, man. I wish I could do it.
after it, I felt smashing. Not during it, but after it, you feel good. And that's like exercise. I feel as if it's an important coping mechanism. And I know Thomas himself, like, you got jogs now and again, Thomas, don't you, as well? And you feel as if that helps.
I went at one last week. I struggled with it, but that was my first one about a month and a half, I think it was. But like you said there yourself, once you've actually done it, you get a buzz off it, and you come out the house, you feel like you could outrun Usain Bolt. You just feel great.
I know.
It's a great feeling. I think it's just the stress and all the cobwebs just get blasted away. You feel great after it.
No, totally. And as I say, guys, like, he's been great today, so I've just been opening up about it. And I really appreciate he's coming on and giving me a platform to try and help other people as well, but most importantly helping yourselves and other people close to you that might experience the situation. So no, I appreciate you for being very open about it. And is there anything else you guys want to share for MD? You feel as if send a wee message out to MD at all?
I would just say, like, obviously, please get in touch with us if you need someone to talk to, even if it's just about stupid stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be about what you're going through. Sometimes it's nice just to like chat about TV shows or like whatever you want to do. But yeah, I think it's so important as well. Like, so it's coming up like 10 years since I had kind of wanted to take my life, and it's mad to think how much I would have missed. Like, and you really don't, see when I add it up, so it's like almost 10 years of my life. Like, I would never have met my boyfriend, I would never have met my brother. Like, it's just crazy to think how much you would miss out on. So yeah, you probably miss out on some absolutely miserable days. I know there's been days like just back kind of like August time, there was a day that I literally lay on the bed and I said, like, please God, if you're going to kill me now. Like, because I was so desolate. And now I'm like, oh, like, obviously I would, like, I take it back. Like, I had a wonderful Christmas, like, and it's just little days that will be horrible. Like, I'm not going to lie, you'll have really like sad days, you'll have days you don't want to get out your bed, but there's so many better days that it's so worth seeing. So yeah, please feel free to send us a message, and I look forward to the fundraiser. I'm buzzing for a wee night out. I know it's miles away, but like, I'm really excited for it.
That'll be a good night, and hopefully Thomas is on his best behaviour as well. He's one I've got to watch out for. No, but as I say, Thomas, just finally yourself as well. The things looking up for yourself just now.
Yeah, probably echo what Allie was saying there, but just about the good days and the bad days. There will be good and there will be the bad, and you just have to take it that way, because it's your expectations of having. You can't have the whole experience of it just going like everything's going great. You know, There's going to be the good and the bad days, but for me, it's like every single day. For you, you're getting to a stage where you feel like it's getting slightly better. Then that's progress. And through this whole period from COVID and all that, we're kind of getting to a stage now where we've done this for more than two years, and a lot of folk right now struggle mentally with that. And as you said yourself, there's been a lot of suicides, and it's worrying when you don't see much media attention in that. But there's a lot of media attention scaremongering going on right now, and there's not a lot of talk about people that are taking their own lives and that, and a lot of young folk as well. But on the positives right now, I think things will get better. And like you said, if anyone wants to talk to myself or yourself and Allie, I'm happy to talk in that, and I've always got time and that, and absolutely.
No, I appreciate it, Thomas, and I know you mentioned as well just previously in the first or second episode about the seizures you've been having. How you feeling with him?
Well, I had that seizure. Must be that one. Was that now? That would have been. Well, I'm trying to think what year it is right now. It's 22, isn't it?
22.
Trying to think what year it was. So that'll be, well, by the time it gets to April, that'll be 5 years.
5 years.
So that was a long time ago now.
Yeah.
That going back to that, I just went through a really bad time. You know, it was kind of because I lost my job. Say I lost my job, I left my job because of obviously the money side of things. But that was a good example of being in a really bad place and then gradually getting back to a much better place. And I think the way I look at it now is like, obviously I'm coming 30 tomorrow, so not try to plug my birthday, by the way. But I'm coming 30 tomorrow. And I think one of the things I've learned is that things do get better, and life experience does help you with things like this, because you go through, you'll think, well, you did that, so why could you not do this? You cope with that stress, why can't you cope with this? You know, you will get through it. It might not be great. You know, some things you've just got to take in the chin. Well, a case of a breakup, or it's never nice, and it's not everything's going to be pleasant. But I really do believe, and it's cliche, that it does make you a stronger person over time. You become more, you can absorb a lot more. And yeah, I absolutely, I think it's just wee things like that can make you a much better person, and that way you're a lot stronger person. But as I said, I have my good and my bad days, but I like to think positive, and I like to think that there's more of like podcasts like this that are out there, because the more, like you said, these wee small things can make a big difference. And yeah, but like, it's just talking today has been good as well. I'm not at my best today. I didn't even know what the app was called before I came on. So, but I have enjoyed speaking to you, both of you, in that, and it was nice to hear what Allie was saying as well. And she's done well for herself. She's coped with quite a bit.
No, and I just echo what you guys have said. And at the end of the day, we'd rather hear everyone's stories repetitively and try to say that word there. But I'd rather hear them than attending someone's funeral at the end of the day. And I'll just echo, of course, about the funding with mental health. I don't know if you saw today, it was Sinead O'Connor. Her son was in a mental hospital, and he got out and he took his own life, 17 years of age. And it's just very important that this is why the funding has to come. Like, people will probably be putting that on the staff, but at the end of the day, it's not them. Like, there's a lack of staff just now as well within the NHS and other source of fund due to the COVID. But this is I feel as if this is a real pandemic now, is people's mental health, because it's the aftermath of this pandemic. A lot of people, as we've seen the last few days, have been affected massively. But as I say, guys, it's just, thanks very much for sharing your stories again, and I'm just glad you are looking up and looking forward, which is the main thing. So that was the latest episode of Every Mind Matters, and thanks very much, Allie and Thomas, for coming on. I appreciate that.
Very welcome.
Thanks very much.